Well, we live in culture. We can't escape that, right? Because we live in the midst of it. But more than that, we belong to a higher culture, a higher calling, and that is to be Christ followers. Everywhere we go, we make him known. And so for us on the podcast, that space is the internet. And so we have to make him known. So yes, we can make cultural references that are appropriate. We can do these things, but we have to be relational. We have to be real. And we're always upfront about that. We are theologians. Right. We study the word of God. We may not be scholars that have degrees, but we can bring what God says in his word along with our lived experiences. And then we can show you what God has shown us. And hopefully you take from that.
Say that theologian part again. That's so important.
We are theologians because we study the word of God. We are just not scholars that have degrees.
Yeah. I wonder how many people have that perspective.
Well, it's a pet peeve of mine as an educator when someone says, I hear a lot of pastors, they will get up and do this, aw shucks. Well, I'm not a theologian, but here's my take. Everyone has a theology of God. Everyone has a thought. They've thought about him from the agnostic to the atheist. So I love the nuance of, no, we all have a theology. We're all theologians. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a published researcher, but I don't want believers to diminish the importance of understanding God. Theology, the study of God.
I was going to say, what does the word theology mean?
It's the study of God.
So if you study God, you are a theologian.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to point out with culture here as well, that it's powerful when believers recognize that we are a part of shaping culture as well. A lot of times believers have this hunker down sort of, let's just weather the cultural storm as if culture happens to us.
Right.
And that's one of the takeaways for the weekend from this message. I think it's powerful when believers are on offense instead of defense. What we see is Paul's greatest speech ever, but he's playing defense.
Right.
So we don't see what happens in other places where Paul gives in Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 2, he says, I came to you in purpose to know nothing except Jesus Christ and him crucified. I'm not pre-preaching Acts 18 here, but when he shows up there, he leaves all the carefully constructed arguments behind.
Yeah.
Not that those aren't valuable, but anything where you're playing defense, I'm going to hold out against culture. I'm going to hunker down and conserve what we've got. I'm going to let we're playing offense, bro. Like Jesus already won. We don't need to play defense. There's nothing to preserve. What are we playing defense? We need to step into culture and recognize we are culture makers.
That's
so
good.
let's make us some culture.